back. From there, chest goes front, side, back, side. Front, side, back, side. And now we go for a full circle and change. Into the hips, one way. You can start small and keep increasing the range of motion. Last, our knees. Bring the feet together and hands on the knees and rotate. All right, don't forget to go the other side as well. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to breathe, stay present, and happy stretching.
Royal Hustler for today. So he goes by the name of Dr. Mare. He holds a PhD and Masters of Arts in Journalism and Media Studies from Rhodes University, that is in Grahamstown, South Africa. Dr. Mare also holds a Masters of Science in Sociology and Anthropology. I'm done. And a Bachelor of Science, honors in Sociology from the University of Zimbabwe. He also holds a Diploma in Mass Communication from Harare Polytechnic School of Journalism and Media Studies. Dr. Mare currently serves as the acting HOD in the Department of Communications and Associate Professor at the University of Namibia. That is our very own, not UNAM, beg your pardon, so sorry, of the Namibia University of Science and Technology, formerly known as NUST. Well, which is currently known as NUS, but formerly known as Polytechnic, where he also is a lecturer. Doctor, so accomplished.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I wish I can relate to those accomplishments, but anyway, thank you so much for that.
You were just at school, eh? Yeah. Anyway, Doctor, so much we need to get through today. Being so accomplished in terms of school, studies, tell us a bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? How was your childhood like?
Wow, thanks a lot for having me. Once again, I was born in Harare, but I was pretty much raised in a rural area, pretty much by a granny. Of course, my mom and dad were there, but they decided to, just take me to the granny.
Yeah.
And I was staying with my granny for the greater part of my childhood, pretty much around, I think, until I was around 10 years. And I think it was when I was staying with my granny that I think I got this ethic around working hard. If you want to achieve something in life, you have to work really hard for it. You also need to make sure that you have got patience, but also beyond just having patience, you also need to just focus on something that you are passionate about.
Right.
So pretty much that's where I am in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So you touched a bit on passion, and you mentioned that you grew up in a rural area. When you're growing up, tell us a bit about that. What was it that you wanted to achieve? What was your biggest dream when you were a young boy?
Yeah, when we were growing up in the 90s, 90s, you know what it was in the 90s. When we grew up in the 90s, pretty much when we looked at policemen with black, I want to be a policeman.
Right.
I want to wear that uniform. Pretty much that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But little did I know that one day I would sit in in an office and being called probably the youngest professor at NUST right now. I never thought about that, but It just happened because pretty much when, I think around when I was around 25, 26, 27, I went to an interview where one white woman said to me, "But why are you applying for this job? I think that you are pretty much called to become an academic. I feel like you are an academic."
Yeah.
And from that interview, I decided that I was not going to apply for any other job. I would just pursue academics. And pretty much she changed my whole trajectory of life. That's what I would say.
Wow, which really shows with all of your accomplishments. In addition to that, we as young people, this whole notion of doing things on the side, within the ambit of what we're pursuing. Did you have a side hustle? Do you have a side hustle, or do you consider yourself even one that could dabble in side hustles at all?
Wow, Thanks. I do have a side hustle, but I just want to say that it was by accident that I got into this side hustle.
Disclaimer.
Pretty much. It was pretty much by accident.
Right.
It was, I think, when I was, the first job that I got when I finished university. I got a job as a public relations manager, and I was very young. I think I was around 23, 24, thereabout.
Wow. Okay.
And when I got the job, I think I just served there for about 2 weeks, and then I got a scholarship to do my master's, and I had to make a decision whether to continue to do my master's or to continue working, and I decided to leave the job and go to school.
Right.
And when I did that, the person that I was working for in this NGO, she said, no, I want to take you as a consultant. And that's how I got into consultants. This is by accident in many ways.
Right.
So ever since then, I've been doing a lot of consultancies on the side. And pretty much now, that's when I'm trying to babysit this passion of mine in consultants, try to make sure that I separate myself, create a side business that can actually stand on its own, not attached to my own brand name, because I want that kind of, that kind of separation. That's
a very, very unique entrepreneurial style of doing things, because it's a lot of entrepreneurs are very personality businesses.
True.
I want to find out from you, do you think it's for young people, is side hustles almost becoming something that we need to do, or just become, or things that are just becoming very automatic for us in this time? Things are quite difficult with COVID, where the world is headed to, technology, everything, geopolitics. As young people, are we supposed to have side hustles?
We should, and we must attempt to make sure that we develop our passions into something that is monetizable. I always believe that you need to make money out of your passion. If you can't make money out of your passion, then suddenly you are in the wrong space. Or pretty much you don't exist on earth, because on earth, passion is the only thing that can actually give you money.
Right.
Anything else, probably you do it just because you want to get money.
Right.
But passion, even if you don't get paid for it, you can still do it. And you still have this energy within you to say, okay, let me do it. For me, it's writing. I'm passionate about writing. I'm passionate about content production. I'm passionate about creating new knowledge for Africans. Pretty much that's
what motivates you on a daily basis.
I've always said to my students, one thing that motivates me is that I've seen that us Africans, we are good at downloading content, but we are not good at uploading content. So every day when I wake up, I want to upload content, which means I need to produce content and put it out there, either in book form or either on the online platforms. So it's about producing new knowledge, producing new content. That's what drives.
What is the most fulfilling aspect of your work?
Wow, thanks again. For me, it's about seeing students being empowered, seeing students coming out of the college and doing great things. For me, every time when I supervise a student and I see the student getting a cum laude or getting into the world of work and breaking new barriers, for me, that's what pushes me, because I see I'm developing new human capital for Africa, but also I'm changing people's lives, because education is very transformational. It's unlike any other pursuit. Education, you can see transformation in people's lives. You can see that this person came, and through the system, now they are this. So it's something. The successes of a teacher can easily be seen, and also the failures of the teacher can also be seen.
Right.
Unlike other professions where you can't measure that, but for us, you can measure it, because you can see, you can track the trajectory of our students.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to put you on the spot quick, fast, Doctor, if I may. There are a lot of stories that we hear of individuals, and yes, granted, or to be fair, these are from Western societies. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, your Bill Gates. Some of them dropped out of university to pursue, their passions, as it were.
True.
And they're considered to be one of the most successful people in the world today.
True.
How do we reconcile that way of doing things to the way you have done things, in a way that, if I want to maintain a good academic record, so that I can be a successful whatever person in the future, is there a disconnect, or is it one and the same things, or should somebody really be? Basically, what I'm trying to find out from you is, how do you fail-proof tips, or give us a couple of fail-proof tips for maintaining a good academic record, with keeping in mind what is going on the other side?
Awesome. Let me say that for me, I would say success is relative. I would say Zuckerberg in his pursuit is very successful. Elon Musk is also very successful. Probably myself in my own pursuit, I'm also very successful. But what I would want to say is that at the end of the day, it's about what you value. What do you value? Do you value making a lot of money? Or do you value creating a better society, or creating a society in which people have got a fair chance at life?
Yeah.
And I think those are the issues that we really need to look at. For me, what I would say, my fail-proof tips would say, for me, if you want to achieve something in life, passion is number one. Hard work is very important. Be consistent at doing something that you're doing, but also above all, make sure that you always have role models, that mentors that are around you that can always give you that push, because life will throw bricks at you. People will mock your hustle. Yeah. People will look down on you. But at the end of the day, you must know what is it that you want to what you want to get out of life.
But doctor, can't I make a lot of money and also still change my society or for the better?
It depends. But most of the time, the pursuit of money, sometimes people pursue money beyond just looking at equitable distribution of resources. Sometimes It's about my money.
Yes.
I don't care what else people are going through. So I think at the end of the day, we should be trying to transform society and make it a better society. For me, that's what really drives me. A better society, a society where everybody has got a fair chance at life. For me, that's good.
You are a lecturer at NUST. So looking at the NUST communication department at the moment, what are some of the exciting projects happening there? Just briefly, because we are running out of time.
Awesome. So right now we are busy recurriculating and also doing a lot of curriculum development. We've got new exciting programs. We are looking at introducing PhD programs. We are looking at introducing a master in communication very soon. So we're doing a lot of things and looking at the market and seeing new opportunities for our graduates actually to get the right kind of qualifications for this kind of society, because we are pretty much living in a transformed society where qualifications must also match what we are teaching.
Right. Doctor, finally, what are some of your hopes for the future of media in Southern Africa?
I hope we'll be able to tap into existing technologies. We also need to tap into the kinds of environment where we are. So we need to produce new kinds of content that resonates with our audiences, but also we need to make sure that ultimately the media space must also be free, so that journalists and other people that work in it can actually thrive. That's what I hope for.
Yeah. I hope for the same thing, Doctor. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate sharing your words and just coming through and talking to us about your life and the hopes and aspirations for Southern Africa.
Thank you so much.
That was Dr. Admire Mare, who holds a PhD and Masters of Arts in Journalism and Media Studies. He's currently the acting HOD in the Department of Communication and Associate Professor at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onwards CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Charles III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden, did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Tell me about it, Nick.
So get your GoCoder, GoTenna, and GoTV Plus from only $399 to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Amazing.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season.
Perfect for you.
And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
My biggest dream, I think like all other kids, you either wanted to be one of three things, right?
Yes.
Either a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. Yeah?
Good today, better tomorrow.
99 FM, we have our royal hustler here, ready and waiting, Okad Jansen. Well, we know him during his TV days and in the media, but today, today he is with us. He's serving right now as the Marketing, Corporate Communications and Client Service Management Executive at the Namibian, Business and Intellectual Property Authority, which is BIPA. And he joins us in studio to share his career journey and just fill us up with the latest developments that's happening there by BIPA. Good morning, Okad. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning.
It's so nice. I'm good. I'm just excited to have you.
It's been a minute.
I know. And you're glowing. I know. COVID is treating you well. Né? With you, COVID is treating you well. You must give us all the secrets and all the things.
Yeah.
But before we knew you as, when you were on TV and in the media, you were an unknown, and you were growing up as a little munchkin, but where? We don't know. So give us a backstory. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where were you raised? And what was that like for you?
Thank you. I think my story resonates with so many other Namibians because there's nothing different, and I think it should serve as a story of hope and inspiration.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the dusty streets of Katatura.
Hey.
My mother's street literally got tarred, I think, about 3 years ago. So imagine.
No, that was dusty.
It was dusty. I have the marks on my legs to show for it. That's where we grew up. We grew up in Vanaheda, Soweto. Yeah. That is the area we grew up. And I grew up with three brothers, one older one, two younger ones. Yeah. And, when I think back and reminisce about my days, what is nice and interesting about it is that I miss the days when we used to walk to Koreachap to go catch fish and come and braai it outside, and then my mother comes and it's 5 o'clock and you're like, hey. But I did not do anything. So that's how I grew up. I went to school at MH Greef, then I went to DHBS. It was tough times because very often you would walk from Vanaheda, you had to go to school early in the morning. I mean, it's nothing different from other Namibians that might have had the same type of lifestyle. Yeah.
And also growing up in the township, we're very much limited with the world until you expand yourself and so forth. So during those dusty years, those fishing at the dam years, what could have been your biggest dream even?
My biggest dream, I think, like all other kids, you either wanted to be one of three things, right?
Yes.
Either a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. Yeah. But for me, I veered more towards the legal part. I was always argumentative. My mother used to say in Afrikaans, "It's a pot for elke deksel," And it's then when I realized, but you know what? I actually have a talent in speaking, and not only speaking, in reasoning. And sometimes, as all children do, manipulating. That's what children knows best. Yeah, I think they have a PhD in manipulation.
So how did you find yourself then in the media sphere?
Yeah, so shortly after finishing, I went to Janmoer.
Yeah.
And then my parents couldn't afford tertiary education for me. But then I had an aunt of mine that said, but this child is too bright. He cannot just be at home. Because that time now I was there zulaing for work. The best thing was that I could just find a part-time job to assist at home. And then my aunt said, no, you know what? You always had an interest in the media. You as a child, you were interested and was doing holiday jobs at the NBC. You need to go study something in that field. Okay. So she enrolled me at the College of the Arts, and I went to go study television production.
Okay.
And I think I must have impressed upon my head of department then, because just a year into my studies, the NBC was recruiting.
Oh, wow.
And I think they were looking for talented people from the college, and there I was. My name was given in, and I got a job. It was surreal, but it was really what I wanted. Yeah.
Isn't it such a beautiful thing to have someone who supports you and sees your potential? Like first your aunt, then your lecturers, and just to have that support system who sees you and you're like, let's try this thing for you, man.
Exactly, and that is why I believe in the philosophy of paying forward today.
Oh, wow.
Because I know that there were a lot of people that pushed me because they wanted to see something different, you know, and that is why I always try to also push other people.
True. Let's put a pin in that for just a little bit. We're just going to pay the bills, and then we will be right back. 99 FM Burner Boy there is saying Omo, and we have our royal hustlers still that grew up in the dusty towns of Vanaida. It got paved only 3 years ago. Hey, toch, man. And yeah, we're talking about his background and just having a great support system that sees your potential and believes in you and helps you make your dream come true. That's Oka Jansen who's here with us. So let's start with how you stay on top of your game, because been in the media field. For media now, you have such an amazing position there at BIPA, marketing, corporate communications, and client service management, which sounds like a lot. So how are you managing to really always stay on top of your game?
You constantly have to reinvent yourself. I think that's important in our industry.
Yeah.
You should know that. And you can never become complacent. So there are two things. You have to constantly innovate, and I think you also have to keep abreast of the latest trends in the media, communications, marketing industry. I always say that I'll be a student for life. So I've constantly been studying. I'm currently finalizing my PhD in media studies, focusing on access to information. So it's basically an intersection between communications and law. And wherever you go within the corporate world, you have to leave a mark. I always say it's not about getting the money. I've never chased money. I've always said that if I die tomorrow, what legacy do I leave for my kids and for the country? People should be able to say, but you know what? That guy transcended, you know, in leaps and bounds, and he was able to, you know, bring changes at various institutions that he was.
Yeah.
So that is basically how I stay abreast. I always say that I cannot be at an institution and not have an impact. Shortly before starting at BIPA, I was at the judiciary.
Oh, wow.
Where I was head of PR, but I was also the spokesperson. And prior to getting there, my media colleagues told me that, you know what, we just can't get a breakthrough into the judiciary. It's so difficult to get information. And that's where I realized, you know, I need to put in a strategy that would be able to give access to information
easily and faster.
Not only to the media, but also to the people out there. And that is why, as of 2018, you would have seen that we started broadcasting and streaming live court cases.
Yes.
And making sure that it's more accessible to people, etc., etc. So that is something that I'm proud of, to say, you know what, I left that mark there.
Yeah,
and that is what is important. That's how I stay abreast of my game, by always trying to be impactful wherever I am.
And especially with the market that you're in, like marketing, PR, communication, it's ever evolving. It's never stagnant. There's always something new that's coming in, always a new way of doing things. So you really have to stay abreast of things. Now, in terms of BIPA is running a campaign aimed at creating awareness of the statutory compliance of submitting annual returns. What is the importance really of these returns?
So let me quickly speak about the campaign. So this is the first time, again, like I said earlier, it's about leaving a mark. You know, I came in, I realized that, you know, we talk about wanting to get people to be compliant, but there's nothing out there. There's no information. So how do we get to do that? You know, draw up a campaign, conceptualize it, and put it out there. Our campaign is called Good Standing is Good Business. And it's centered around general compliance of businesses. So there are a lot of business owners, and I know probably you and Mo, you also own a CC here and there.
Sole proprietor.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people out there, they say that they don't know about their obligations as business owners.
True.
And that is what we're trying to do with this campaign, trying to bring to the fore what are the obligations of business owners and why it's important that you need to comply. Just like any other regulated industry, the same is for businesses. So we are out there telling people that they need to submit their statutory submissions on a yearly basis, of which annual duties are one of the most important ones. We also have some interesting competitions running where people can win smart TVs, personal development books, etc., etc. Maybe, just maybe, we might do a bit more for young entrepreneurs.
Please, dog. We're the ones that needed the most, Pella. We're the ones that need the push. And especially, with, you know, like you said, what is required as a newly minted entrepreneur. You are thrown into the deep end. It's a sink or swim, and you just don't know, and you're figuring it out as you go along. So to have something like this, I said, hey, here's what is needed. It makes things so much easier to navigate the sphere of entrepreneurship and business.
True.
Yeah.
And you know, BIPA, we don't only do business registration. We also do intellectual property.
Okay.
And a lot of, especially those in the art industry, in the creative industry, don't know the importance of, for instance, IP, such as copyright, trademarks. I mean, just like 99 FM, are you trademarked? Do you have a trademark, for instance? We have a lot of disputes on a daily basis where people come and say, but that name belongs to me. No, it belongs to me. And even if you've used it for 10 years and someone else comes and registers a trademark, basically it belongs to them.
Yeah.
You know, and that is also something that we're trying to push with a trademark and a copyright campaign coming up later this year.
All right. I just want to take you back a little bit to competitions, because we like those. Because you are running the competition for business owners. You're trying to encourage them to stay, you know, paid up with their annual returns. So with the competition, how do we enter and how do we go about that?
Sure. So, of course, you need to be paid up in terms of your annual duties. If you are, you'll be able to get a good standing certificate, and then, of course, participate in national tender processes. But once you are paid up, all you need to do is SMS BIPA followed by your registration number, and SMS that to 2929. Of course, it's only one entry per registered.
Oh, it's not that kind of a competition about you can register as many times as you like.
No. We're trying to save them money. We're trying to save. We know it's tough times, eh? It's tough times. Yeah. So
yeah, and so from before I let you go, from BIPA's side, for any questions that an entrepreneur, a business owner has, how do they get in touch? What do they need to do?
They can contact us on our email address, which is PR@BIPA, PR standing for Public Relations at BIPA.NA, or alternatively, they can follow us on social media. That's BIPA_Namibia. Or on Facebook or on Twitter at BIPA Namibia, and we'll be able to assist them. We also have a website, that's www.bipa.na, where all the information regarding business registration, intellectual property is. And of course, they can catch us on shows such as the Royal Hustler.
Hey, that's what we do. Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
And if we have any kind of questions, I'm sure we can just, dial up BIPA there and get you on the line quickly because, like I said, startups and SMEs, a lot of questions navigating their way through. So we really appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
And that was our Royal Hustler for this morning, Okkad Jansen, serving as the Marketing, Corporate Communications and Client Service Management Executive at BIPA, and was joining us in studio just to help us along in terms of what you need to do as a startup or even as a business owner in terms of the statutory compliance and submitting your annual returns. All of the information that you need there. For any questions, PR@BIPA.NA. That's PR@BIPA.NA.
Rejoicing choir. Maruka